we have more than one form, not only physical. These forms can be in more than one place at one time. For example, when we think about somebody, we always send our part of ourselves over there. And sometimes people can feel it, that you actually been around, even mentally. Form is the result of concentrated energy caused by vividly directed emotional or psychic idea images. The intensity is all that important. If you have a vivid desire to be somewhere else, then identical form to me will appear in that very spot. The desire will carry the imprint of your personality and image, even though you remain unaware of this image, though this thought image usually is not seen by others. It is quite possible that in the future science will perceive it. Also, it can be perceived by those who develop the inner senses. Any mental act will have the imprint of the personality who originally created it. Thus, there are many ghost forms, shadow images, forms that have not emerged completely into physical reality, but are vivid enough to be constructed. These forms have a definite effect on the atmosphere. If the desire is very intense, the energy core would be greater, and a portion of my own flow of consciousness would be imparted to the form that appears in the desired place, for example. Sometimes I really want something, and then I can suddenly smell or taste particular thing, or in some other way perceive the environment in which this pseudo-image that I thought of exists. The fantastic energy of my psyche not only created my physical body, but maintains it. It is in constant stage of pulsation, and because of the nature of energy and its construction, the body is actually blinking off and on all the time. It's just only the physical existence of the body. So, for example, if we see the life as plus and minus in a wave, then each time when it's plus, the body sees itself and remembers only this existence. So we are not aware of the unblinked position when we're in other realities, or sometimes people catch themselves dreaming in the middle of the day or walking, and they suddenly don't realize where have they been just 5 minutes ago. That's because they haven't really been there. They've been in another place. We're pulsating all the time. That's the nature of energy. We are not here as often as we are. Our emotional intensity and focus create forms besides our physical body. However, the duration and degree are dependent on intensity of any given emotional origin. We constantly send in out projections. Every form projects itself infinitely into space. Everything that appears in physical terms also exists in other terms that we do not perceive. We only perceive realities when they seem to coalesce into matter, only physical. But they actually exist validly at other levels. It's like in Photoshop, there's different gradation of shapes. So it happens in reality. Before something becomes physical, there's different stages of intensity when it becomes more and more physical or less physical. And it all has its own existence. But we get only one particular. It's like if we see different colors on one carpet from white to black, we perceive only the black, the particular intensity of matter. But there's other intensities which we don't focus on, but they do exist. There are other realities which are more vivid. Therefore, our own reality for them will barely appear, and for them it will be only a shadow or something. We perceive this world simply because we tuned on this particular wavelength, like radio. Other portions of ourselves, of the soul, of which are not aware consciously, do inhabit other forms of realities, and perceive much stronger concentrations of energy, and construct forms of different nature. Each is different reality, wave perception. For example, I send my image to a seaside, right? A super self or soul who strongly desires to exist in physical form will send projected part of it there. For example, I want to be near the seaside really bad, so I send a projection of myself to the seaside. It still has a little bit of its original perception, awareness, creativity, so I can actually feel the beach, see the sea, and hear the waves, but I'm not really there. We follow our own lines of development, well, right? And eventually, if we continuously keep on thinking about it, we add more and more energy and experience to this extension. We also ensure our own development, so at each stage of projection, you can just think you want to be near the sea, so it's only a thought, so it's one stage. You can think more intensely, then you will hear the waves, that's a different level of existence. And you can even get to the stage when you actually smell the sea, then you almost materialize yourself near the beach. So people who pass near this particular place might even feel you. So there's different levels of existence of this projection, and they all continue to exist even when you change your thoughts to something else. Although there are gradations of self, our present personality still continues to develop and grow. While you continue to exist and develop as an individual, the whole self or soul has such vast potential that it can never be expressed fully through one personality. Through very intense emotional focus, we can create a form and project it to another person, who may then perceive it. This may be done consciously or unconsciously. Historical periods exist simultaneously in forms as valid as ours now, and in other reincarnational selves. We are simply not tuned to these frequencies. The rule of the game that we accepted is that past can be perceived but not future. Thus we can have histories. After death, in our own terms, the future appears as clearly as the past, yet it is complicated, for there is not just one past, because each action that we do has many probable actions that we could have done but we didn't. They all exist. Like in computer, there's a software, and you can choose a computer game, choose a particular act you want to be. Like in these different action games, when you choose who you want to be and which acts you can do, jump and go and run. But everything you choose, there's lots of other possibilities which are programmed, but you haven't chosen them. But they do exist, and anyone else who can choose other option will be available for him. There are lots of probable pasts, lots of probable futures, probable presents. We have accepted as real only certain classifications of events and ignore all the others. The words past, present, and future have no more meanings as far as true experience is concerned than ego, conscious, and subconscious.